Welcome to an off podcast episode with a personal friend of mine, Michael Carr. Michael and I have been friends together for a while, and I even helped him buy his first home here in Lafayette, and it was a great experience. So he has been in the business for a good while now, and I wanted to jump on an off podcast episode to share some of the reasons why he made a big move and a bold move and lost quite a bit of stock coming from the EXP model to then joining us here at Real. And we're going to go through the 5 top reasons why he chose to take his entire business over to this model, where he was potentially at that moment where he left EXP and what he left on the table. And then we'll circle back around to really find out where he is now and if that decision was a great thing a year into the change. So, Michael, welcome to our off podcast episode. How are you?
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Jamie. And yeah, I know we've been talking about this for a little while, so I'm excited to get on here and chat with you. Appreciate you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have been kind of collaborating on a lot of different things, and a lot of it is revolving around really loving on and helping agents improve their business. But I feel like part of that improvement in the business is really understanding what options there are for agents in their business. And I feel like for me, 18 years in the business, I'm in 20 years now, but at the 18 year in the business, I made a major move in my business. And I think it just came down to not even understanding what options and opportunities were there for me in my potential change. And just sometimes staying put is costing you potentially money. So expand a little bit on where you were, what you left when you left EXP, and why you made the move ultimately to come join us here at Real.
Awesome. You made some great points. And you know, in this business, we as agents come from all different kind of backgrounds. And so our evaluation process is probably based somewhat on those backgrounds. You've been in real estate for 20 years. That's your background.
Yeah.
And so you evaluate it from a real estate perspective. I had come in from a completely different background. Of course, you know, I was a Marine Corps veteran. Not that that had a lot to do with real estate. And then I was in the oil field for 20 years. But during that time, I was also a subcontractor. So I was a business owner in that career path, right? I left that and actually started and ran a oil field service company for 5 years, which was absolutely brutal. Don't ever do it. It's a horrible
Right.
idea. Nobody's ever happy with the finished product. So anyway, it wasn't rewarding. We got paid and stuff, but that was about it. Anyway, so when I got into real estate, it was a business to me. And I really liked the fact that I could help people. Like, that resonated with me. And I immediately saw quickly that we were a commodity as agents. And everyone was going to sell us something. Like, I was inundated the first year. Like, is everything about selling me something? I honestly felt that way. So
Right.
I was already evaluating this thing, and I realized, okay, every year I'm going to make a commitment to my business to evaluate it as a business and decide if the broker platform is the platform I'm going to stay with for the next year. Because I did understand that we were the brand, the agent itself, you know, we're the business. So yeah, I started out just like that. And you know, I've watched a lot of agents, and it kind of, I guess it's a thing that pricks my heart a little bit when I see them kind of taken advantage of, and I'm always trying to help. And believe it or not, that's the genuine thing. And I know you have that heart too. So when I see agents struggling, I try to jump in and give them some tips. But yeah, anyway, I know we were talking about business evaluation, so that's
Yeah.
really it.
Yeah, and absolutely. I love that about evaluating your business. And realtors, a big suggestion is when you're getting into the real estate business, like a lot of these agents don't have this business background, right? So they don't have this experience that you've had with running other businesses. I feel like the best agents sometimes that get into the business have run other businesses, and then they have then an advantage over other agents who are in the business because they understand business, right? We're not here to build somebody else's brand. And I think that's a lot of the issues that some agents have is they say, hey, I'm associated with Century 21, or I'm associated with Remax, or all these major brands, and they're so proud of that, which, hey, I think you should be proud of your
Yeah,
company.
for sure.
But I feel like it clouds their mind of, now I'm so gun ho about this brand that it clouds their business decisions on whether or not they should stay there at that brokerage or not. And like you said, you've evaluated every part of the business, so you understand, like, hey, I need to put the pen to the paper, and is this thing going in the right direction, or is it not? Having that CEO mindset, right? Like that, I am the leader of my own business. So expand on that a little bit.
Yeah, those are all outstanding points. I feel like a lot of agents, not all, but there is that kind of character trait, and they get into the business with an employee mindset.
Yeah.
And it's not that they even know it. It's more like they join the broker, but it's almost like the broker hired them in the way they mentally approach this thing.
Yeah.
And so for me, that was just never the issue. And I was older. Like I said, I'd had life experience. So I already kind of understood how this thing was going to work. And so my first selection of broker was just based on jump start. Who is going to give me a quick jump start? How do I learn this business? And so that was the evaluation to get started. The second evaluation was a year or two later. I actually moved to another broker, and then on to EXP we had talked about, and we'll get more into that later. So, I feel it's super important to remember we're the business and to evaluate your business with that mindset. And call it CEO mindset, whatever works, it is yours. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that brings us to kind of reason one. We're calling it 1 through 5, but reason one why you left EXP. So expand a little bit on the first reason why you left.
Yeah. So initially I hit EXP and thought absolutely great platform. And I still don't have any hate toward the platform, but it kind of satisfied a lot of that entrepreneurial side that I was looking for. I was like, okay, wait, here's benefits. Here's profit share. Here's stock options. These are all valuable things to a business owner. Now I'm participating, so I could see the value of that. The interesting thing was when I joined, I hadn't even heard of Real. Real was still kind of in its infancy. And so I fit into EXP. I was feeling it out. And, I was there about a year and a half, almost 2 years. And the time I was there, I was identifying some holes in the game, things that I couldn't fix. And I was actually mentally evaluating, do I fix these? One, buy a building. I didn't buy a building. I rented one. So I was subcontracting or subleasing office space to agents because I recognized the need for that. So I was like, okay, we have to have community. Agents like community. We need collaboration. These little funnel systems weren't getting it done for me. So I'm like, all right, let's bring people together. But then I realized this is exhausting. Like I have to do too much. And I'm like, if there was a building with a cloud-based brokerage, this would be the game change. And I wasn't at a position or maybe even the influence to go risk buying a whole building at that point. But I could see it being the thing to do. Stock price, when I got there, it was $70 a share. Like EXP was rocking. So the investor mindset was involved in that too. Then I noticed them start to kind of plummet. I believe they're at $8 today. Real wasn't on the radar yet until I saw District South take their brokerage into it. And shout out to Sean and Carrie. That was such a bold move. I honestly didn't know what Real was at that point until that happened. And then I talked to you, and I was thinking, okay, this is CVS, Walgreens. You know what I mean? Like, who's first? It doesn't matter. Who's second could actually be better. That's the law of investing right there. Someone's going to improve the existing model, and now it's going up. And so what I saw was, at that time, $1.40 a stock share at Real when I joined, and the agent count was about 18,000. Then we hit these hard, rough years. Agent count is now at like 26,000, I believe, in March.
27. Yeah, 27,000.
Yeah, okay. Broke 27. So that's like a 77% increase or something like that over the year. Maybe not quite that high, but it's going up faster than it's going down. EXP is actually retracted. So they were touting about 90 and almost, into the 90s is the numbers I was hearing, 90,000 or so agents. But right now they're at like 80, 81 and change.
Yeah.
So in the same years, Real is expanding, EXP is retracting. So what's that tell me about my stock? My stock
Absolutely.
has no hope of reaching that potential again. I just, from an investor standpoint, take the emotion of the agent out.
Correct.
I wish EXP well because I still own some of their stock. So
Yeah.
I want to get my money back. I want them to win too. But the reality is, if I'm going to get on a ride that's going up, I'm going to find the initial entry point of this investment. And that's where I feel we're at.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was doing some research with chatting with an agent, and I just randomly Googled, I was like, fastest growing real estate companies in 2024. And I just showed her in front of just Googling it, and Real was one of the top growing real estate companies in the nation. And that's not because we acquired some other company or all these other companies are going after these brands to add agent count. But it was just in pure growth. And there still is a lot of pure growth to the company as far as keeping on expanding. And really everybody comes on to the company. I'm looking at these social media influencers and these big YouTube people, and I'm like, they're with Real. And it adds a level of interest to it and momentum to it and all those things going in the right direction. When I joined the company, I came from District South, which was a small local brokerage, a boutique style brokerage in Lafayette, Louisiana. That brokerage took 50 plus agents over to Real. We dissolved the whole company. They got rid of the whole company, and the whole company came underneath the Real broker model. I did not know that was something that I actually needed and wanted in my life at the time, because, change is tough, especially because I went 18 years of my life at a traditional model brokerage, moved my business over to District South, which was a small boutique brokerage. And then about a year in, they said, hey guys, we're taking the whole thing over to this company called Real Broker. And you're going to be excited about it. You're going to love it. And I'm like, yeah, maybe. But I'm small thinking, right? I'm thinking, I just need to work for a good company and people I like, and kind of small-minded business thinking instead of really getting more like CEO mindset, right? And saying like, this is my business. What am I doing? But even when we made the move, was nice is I improved in my split opportunity that I had because we had a very nice split at District South. We were at 80-20 split. So we were keeping most of our money, but going from 80-20 to going to 85-15 at Real, that was a great move for my family. I gained 5% just by doing that. And what was nice was I was able to take that 5% and add it to my stock, which was an even greater move, because then I gained all this stock through the year that we were at Real at $1 whatever per stock purchase, and then that stock increased dramatically. So that was incredible. So I tripled up on all of my stock that first year, because we went from 12. Our company actually pushed Real over 12,000 agents. Our company actually pushed them into the 12,000 agents mark. Awesome. So we've doubled since then, or more. We've more than doubled in size since just that 1 year. So thankfully to the owners of District South to give us that opportunity and that chance to kind of grow our own personal brands and our own personal net worth in the way of stock, but also having a great individual transaction volume. So that was great. That was a bold move, but I've heard many times, follow the people who are making bold moves in their real estate business, right? Yeah, right. Ignore comfort. Let's talk about bold moves. And that was a big one. Any more thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's really great. That's the early adapter mindset that kicked in right there. And then so you think about if you had joined EXP in 2016, maybe, right? 2017, 2018, somewhere in there, you would have made quite a bit of money if you sold when it was 70. If you held on, you're probably now just trying to...
Kicking yourself, yeah.
You're maintaining and you're hoping it'll come back. You know what I mean? Like, I've been on the losing end of stock investments. I've also been an active investor for over 30 years. So I've held stock too long because you just can't sell. You're just like, oh, I can't take the loss. I'm going to wait. It's going to come back. It doesn't always come back. Sometimes it's cut your losses. But anyway, so Real's got that early adapter position right now, right? And you said it, 12,000 agents is where you were at when you came in. I mean, that's only a couple of years, and now you're at 26,000 with Real. It's climbing. And so even if I were an EXP agent, had a massive influence, I would probably rinse and repeat and move to Real and make more money because you're an early adapter.
Yeah.
That's my thoughts on that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Well, let's get into more of the, I guess, reason two that you decided to move the entire business over from EXP to here.
Yeah. Some of it was also about the agents that had trusted me with their business. When I went to EXP, I had some agents, and I wasn't a recruiter. I wasn't calling people and promising them anything. There were agents that I was working with that I wanted to help improve their lives. And so I went over there and they followed me. And I just felt like it wasn't improving their lives. It was harder on them because what I also realized was some agents absolutely need community.
Right.
As much as they need their business. That makes sense to a lot of people. To me, I had to actually figure this out because to me, I can grind and work. And honestly, community's probably the thing I will choose last, whereas that's very important to other agents. And so you have to find that balance in this business. I couldn't see that happening where we were at. And so I was also looking to solve that problem because I felt bad for them. I wanted them to actually thrive in this industry and be happy and have support because if you're the ceiling, that's all we have. So you want to be around bigger people. And I knew I needed to get in bigger rooms as well and get them into bigger rooms.
Yeah, absolutely. And the way that the models are and how I understand EXP to work is if you join underneath the correct downline or silo or whatever it is, you get all the coaching and the help from the agent who's above you or the agent who's above them, right? And if you joined right, you got all the things, right? And you didn't even join EXP in a underneath a network. So you probably were an outlier for that. But where I'm going with this is by you aligning yourself with Real, you aligned yourself with people who are not only willing to help you, but also willing to help the people that you've also brought on with you as well. But not just Jamie helping Michael by bringing him on to Real, but other people in our network, creating a wide network of agents who are invested in helping other agents. And I think that's the part that, I really take a lot of pride in being able to help people that you've brought along with you on your journey. I love getting to help agents. So just gives you that now you were an outlier because you didn't join under the right silo at EXP. And then now you turn it to now like I've chatted with several of the people that you brought along board and they're like, Jamie, I'm loving what you and Michael are doing to be able to give us opportunities to lead us, to help us grow our business, that kind of stuff. So that was one little sidebar on the whole moving everything over.
That's a great point. Yeah. Ego has to be set aside if you really want to help people, right? And I know that I'm not the best agent in the world. That's just not possible. But I also know that I have a heart to help people. And when I can get around other agents that have the same heart, there's more value together. Someone else has tools and gifts that I don't possess. Whereas I may be good at this, they're good at that. And so we can all learn from each other. And that's what I found here. Like, believe me, I came in with eyes open because I'd already seen a similar model. So I was looking for these things. And when I got here, the first thing I realized is like, okay, great building, great office space. Everyone here is actually working together. And I started seeing some area top producers sitting in this building. And I was like, okay, they're moving here too. And then, we still do training just like a brick and mortar. So that was super cool to me. Like every Wednesday, it's no different than Keller Williams or, maybe Ladder and Bloom, all these brokers across the area here. You've got your vendors bringing in breakfast, and we have a class, but we have a real live training class. We actually, and I think this just started this year. It's so cool. We actually allow agents to get on the schedule, and they're giving away their secrets for free. Like, that's part of the class. It's the craziest thing. Try that somewhere else. I've been to those classes. They do not tell you all their game plan, right?
Yeah.
So here's these top producers sitting up here telling you how they handle their business, and you will not see that anywhere. I don't care. You find me the place. I don't think it exists. EXP, I love the cloud platform, all that stuff, but at the end of the day, your system, your funnel is your ceiling. And it may be a nice high ceiling, but at the end of the day, it's your ceiling. Is it always going to be the high? Is it always going to be big enough? I don't know. For me, it wasn't. I just needed more out of this thing.
Yeah,
my time.
absolutely.
Oh, sorry. I feel like
ahead.
this. We're really in this to build a brand, and so at the end of your sales career, what do you have? And that was the first thing I recognized, and it might be because I did get into this older. And I'm like, okay, look, I did a lot of work to build a business. What do you do with it when it's over?
Right.
I could see that at these other brokers. I'm like, when I quit selling, it's over. Like, game over. The last sale is the last closing, the last
amount of money I ever make in real estate at all.
Yeah. And honestly, it wasn't even the money for me. It was the work and the effort. Because when you build something, I don't know, there's a sense of accomplishment, and then it just seemed like a huge waste to just shut it all down and ride off into the sunset. What if you can actually build something with other like-minded people, and then you can just kind of pass along the value, and you're still going to be in the game somewhat. This is a perpetuity rewarded platform. As long as we keep the license, we're going to get paid by the people we've helped along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that brings us right along to reason number 3 of why you left EXP. So talk to us a little bit about that platform, right? And maybe expand, because you were touching on it a little bit, but expand on what that looks like for you, because you're maybe looking at a couple more years in your career and you're saying, hey, I'm getting to be where I'm looking at retirement age as well too. So talk to us a little bit about like what your game plan is for like actually thriving in a retirement state, and then also to talk about the platform for agents as well.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we were talking about the office. That was huge. And then I started looking around and seeing that other areas were doing similar things. Like real is just such a movement, and there's so much excitement around it that it's not really this micro picture we hear. We see the macro is much better. Like, if you go to the Rise event or you start interacting like you do on your podcasts and things with all these other agents, you see the movement is real. No pun intended. But It's big. Like, they're out there doing big things just like this. Like, they're seeing the value, like investing in the people. See, that's a phenomenon I don't think has been exposed prior to this kind of generation, right? Brokers held on to the goodies because they needed the agents to depend on them. Does that make sense?
Gotcha.
And I'm not saying all of them, but I'm just saying, but here you have this fully collaborative platform. And so for me, I feel like anybody I influence, of course, it's an attraction thing. We start to help agents do better. They produce. It actually helps us too. And so, yes, when I hit that day when I decide to retire, I want to have prepared every agent that has blessed me with, the ability to help them to be successful. I want them to be so successful that, they're going to be attractive and they're going to be bringing on agents. And I'm not good at retiring, so I don't feel like I'll just be out of the picture, but I'd love to be more in that mentorship place, kind of helping them, guiding them, and still, knocking down some sales, because it's still fun, man. I still enjoy it. So
yeah, absolutely, man. And it, Sean Heddich says it a lot. He's like, are we going to be opening up doors till we're, 80, 90 years old? I mean, I saw an agent the other day was over 100 years old. She's still selling a couple houses a year. But is that the plan? Is that the best thing that we can potentially do? And I mean, I love the concept of like being able to do what we enjoy doing, right? Selling real estate, but also helping agents. I did that for free for 18 years of my career. I just helped agents with their business. I was the guy that says, hey, here's how you write the purchase agreement, or here's how you do this or process this, or here's what you do with that. Almost was kind of like a broker, but got no like props for it, whatever. I left my last company with the shirt on my back, and it was a branded company t-shirt that I donated to a friend. But like building what we're building right now, we have the opportunity to build, by helping agents, a revenue stream that can be really exciting, and it doesn't come out of the agent's pocket with the way that the revenue is set up. So it's a really cool concept. You can actually retire and keep the revenue from the efforts that you've made in helping these agents through the years, which I'm like, that is so unbelievable that we can potentially just say, hey, I'm going to write off, Michael's going to write off into the sunset after whatever amount of time. Hopefully you don't. I'm hoping you hang out. But like, you can have a benefit that you can actually retire and keep the revenue, which that's crazy. That would be like Target, selling their business to Walmart and saying, hey, we'll give you Target, but we're going to keep all of the money that we make from our sales, which is kind of crazy if you think about like retiring and selling your business. And I guess you can use the stock as like, hey, I can sell my ownership in this business, sell my stock, but keep the revenue from the business, which is just totally crazy in my mind that that's even like a possibility. But it's possible when you have a heart for helping agents grow their business.
Absolutely. I saw this top producer show or Zoom type deal going on, and they had all these top producers on, and they asked them a question that was kind of alarming to me. Not alarming, but it really illuminated some stuff to me. They said, how much would you sell your database for?
Yeah.
If I asked you that question, Jamie, how much would you sell your database to me for?
Right. It's crazy. I don't even know.
Could you even value it?
Yeah. Could you value it? And and what would it be worth? Right. I mean,
exactly.
It's just they're people. You don't own the people,
Exactly.
like there's some people that had a great reputation with you, but you don't own the people. They're just people. So that's, yeah, exactly.
But you built the business, you worked really hard, but now you first you'd have trouble trying to evaluate it, and you have trouble trying to sell it to somebody because they wouldn't be able to evaluate it either. But it's worth so much because it's paid you probably millions of dollars over 20 years.
Correct.
Right. But like you said, when you left that last broker, it didn't matter. You walked out. There was nothing from that broker that went with you. His business maintained. And I would imagine because of the name, probably absorbed a little bit of even some of your database, because people might still think you're over there and they're just calling that real estate company. Whereas now you've got this opportunity to not like you own the database, but now you're building something that you get to keep. And I just love that. I think it's great.
Yeah. Yeah, and that goes back to helping agents, right? Like just telling them, like I had a conversation with a realtor that she came join us in the network, and I called her the other day. She was like, Jamie, I'm so glad we had this conversation. She was at another little brick and mortar brokerage here in our community, and she's like, Jamie, like I didn't do anything but like make sales. All I did was make sales. I signed up for the stock program like right away. She rode the wave here with the stocks, and she's like, I just turned around and I made an extra $30,000 this year. I'm like, that's insane. Like, and then that's doubling and tripling up and stuff like that. And that's crazy, like just that whole deal. And even just being able to like invest in something that then you can get like a nice return, like they match. There's some stock matching and stuff that goes on too. And it's tough for agents to understand the whole stock thing. And I struggled with that when I joined because I was like, what do I care about stock in a company that I don't know anything about? And like, that was where I was when I joined. And I'm like, thank God I just trusted somebody that said, hey, I understand what this is all about. I understand that this is going somewhere good, because I've made 5 times on my money that I did just trusting in my mentors, just like the people that you're bringing along with you on the journey, trust in you that you're going to do what you say you're going to do and help lead them to, the
That's
promised land and not over a cliff or something.
right. That's
So,
fun because I had a similar thing. One of the agents I mentor, she, after about a year had gone by, she just opened up her laptop and said, "What is this?" And she was pointing to the Real Wallet. For those of the listeners that don't know, we have what's called a Real Wallet, where we actually have a banking account within the system and our money goes there, or it just shows you your deposits in your outside bank account, whichever one you want. But she really hadn't grasped the whole stock thing. And so she's pointing to all this money and she goes, "I don't know what that is." And I'm like, "Remember when I told you to click yes on the stock options?" And she said, "Yeah." I go, "That's your money. That's your stock award." And she's like, "Oh my God." Like her mind was blown. I said, "Now, what do you think that's going to look like in 5 years? What do you think that's going to look like in 10 years? I said, "You are going to be very well off," because she's young. She's got a lot of years left in this business. I'm like, it was fun though to see that.
Yeah, that's your ownership in the company, and then
Yeah.
even like for agents who actually do like a decent amount of transactions too, I would tell people too, like if you're an agent that does, let's just say 40 transactions, 30 to 40 transactions a year or 50 transactions a year, being a part of this company will actually pay you to be part of this company by the way of stock. And like for me, like in that great year where everything kind of leveled up in the stock and everything else, I also hit the elite agent status, which gave me an additional $16,000 worth of stock. And I'm also going to be teaching, which will give me an additional $8,000 in stock. So there's a potential to earn $24,000 in stock per year, which the cost of a cap is only 12,000. So it's like they're going to essentially pay me to be here at the brokerage, which is insane. Especially, I mean, not even including revenue and in the share and all that other stuff. Like it's a great business move, and y'all, we got to get away from like, I'm so proud to be at Remax, or I'm so proud to be at Century 21, or whatever it is. We got to get away from that, because at the end of the day, what is important? It's your family, it's your kids, your grandkids. That's what's important. It's your retirement and your comfort. Is Remax going to come in and pay you something for the rest of your life and let you be able to live off of that? Like once you're done your transactions, you do your last transaction there, you're done. That's it. That's a wrap. No more. Let's go on to reason number 4, right? And maybe expand on the reason number 4 why you left EXP.
Yeah, I didn't just want to make money in real estate. Once I got in this and I realized that, there's all these relationships that can be formed. There's so many other elements to this business besides opening and closing a door and buying and selling a house or helping someone do that. There's so many other places you can touch. And I realized I really enjoyed working with other agents, learning from them and also helping them grow their business. So I wanted to do that. And then I also wanted to build more wealth for my lineage. I'm at an age where, to be honest, the careers I've had have blessed me, and I kind of am doing this as a supplement. This is just, I really do enjoy helping people. And everything I do now is more for my children and grandchildren's, I guess, benefit at the end of the day. I'm, hoping to bless them. And with this platform, you're able to do that. If you're a parent like you are, Jamie, you know that you want something for your children. You want something for those grandchildren that will outlive you. Well, a profit share or stock investments can absolutely outlive you. That's investing. But the money you just buy and sell with is probably going to get spent on bills and the things that we do in life, So I wanted something more than just that buy sell opportunity. Yeah, I'd say my vision just was a little bigger than where we were at. That's where I was going.
Well, that brings us to the last reason, and that's reason number 5 why you left. And I'll have you expand on Reels community. And I think that's going to be a great place for us to finish up this thing, because I think that's the part that a lot of people don't get.
Right. So I've really believed, and that's after seeing multiple platforms, multiple brokers, that this was a leaner, cleaner platform built for agents that actually benefited agents. And it wasn't built and I hate to use that word, off their backs, right? I don't want to say it like that, but it really was built for them. You could feel that constant push to help agents from the top on down. Like, that's really the vibe that I get at Real. And so that's important to me. Early in my career, I was saddened to watch new agents run around and I felt like they were being taken advantage of. Not by brokers. I don't want to blame brokers. They have
Right.
business models, but I'm talking about just running around trying to figure this thing out with no real direction, because they have to pay for this, they have to buy this, they have to pay for these leads. All these systems cost money, and I saw this to be more of a connective platform. Like, everything's here, they don't have to do that, and then they can kind of focus on building their business, a building that can scale with them without really having to do much monetary investment if they don't want to. So 3 brokerages in this area that I was with, great people, learned from everyone. I always say that there's nothing wrong with change, and there's no blaming where you came from. You learn and you move forward. And so everywhere I was at, I learned, and I learned what I really wanted, and this solved a lot of those problems. And then we can just get into the nuts and bolts, and what everybody wants to know is there's no monthly fee. So the agents I was working with, a couple of them were very new. 2 of them were mothers with children. Money was tight, and they were learning the business. And if they weren't selling, I could feel their stress, because they had monthly fees. At every brokerage I was at, had monthly fees. All these different little things they had to pay for along the way. And I really loved when I found out Real had 0 monthly fees. Like, that was just so great, because I'm like, any agent can come here and hang their license at any place in their career. Even think about this, if they're inactive, they can hang their license and they don't have to pay for it. Like, I know agents right now, I love them to death, hardworking agents that are over at another brokerage, not even selling real estate because life has taken them a different turn, and yet they're paying $85 or $100 a month to keep a license there that they're not even using. I just like, please move your license. So those were huge, all that kind of stuff. If your broker model isn't helping agents win from day one, it's probably not built for long-term success. That's just my opinion, right? It's a business. They're in business too. And I'm not knocking anybody out there. This is my opinion. Every broker is maybe a right fit for someone, but I really believe in the power of this platform of opportunity called Real Broker.
Absolutely. I couldn't imagine being anywhere else right now, and especially being with any other crew than ours. So I guess give us one more little thing, and then we'll close it out. Maybe give us a little recap on everything.
Absolutely. Yeah. So real quick, we talked about it before. I did leave stock on the table when I left EXP. I want them to win. So this is not to bash EXP, and I don't want anybody to hear that from me, and I hope my tone didn't come across like that. I didn't leave because the EXP was awful. I left because Real was better for where I was going and the vision I had for something I wanted to build and the people that I wanted to build with. So I just want to be very clear about that. Come to Real and see what it's all about. I definitely love, and I know Jamie would love to answer any questions if anybody has them. No shade on anybody. You're all hardworking agents out there.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we're going to do is we're going to put both of our Calendly links in the details of this video. So if you're at all interested in, and it doesn't even have to be about Real, we're here to encourage agents. If we can help you with your business in any way, we're happy to do that. But also, if you want to kind of hear a little bit about where we're going, what we're doing, if you're interested in joining, potentially having a conversation about it, a private conversation. This is not going to go in the ears of anyone. We talk to agents all day long, try to help them with their business. If Real is a great fit, I would love to help you with it. If it's not, we still want to be your friend. We still want you to grow your business. And in fact, we still have agents that we're doing that with multiple companies all day, every day. So please reach out to either one of us, and we'd be glad to help you with it. So, Michael, thank you so much for joining me on this first, I guess, off-pod session that we're doing. And yeah, I appreciate your leadership and, just getting to run this opportunity that we have here. And it's an absolute honor to be a part of it with you. And I hope you hang out with us for a few more years, man, before you ride off into the to the oil field sunset. So,
yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah, I couldn't be happier with the super group of agents we have around us. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, I plan on sticking around a little bit.
Sounds like a plan. And if you guys ever need any help, please feel free to reach out, schedule a call, book something on Calendly. We'd be glad to spend a 30-minute little Zoom call with you, help you grow your business, chat about what we're doing, give you a little encouragement, help you spark some business. A lot of people need that right now, baby. So wish you guys the absolute best. And I appreciate you guys following everything we do with the pod and with everything else. And just happy to help you guys. So boom. See you guys later.
All right, y'all. See you later. Take care.